it! Yeah! Let's do it! Go get it! Oh, what a day. The Houston Marathon, the final episode of Breaking 3. This is a series I've been doing in which I've been chronicling my journey in an attempt to break 3 hours in the marathon. This is the first of 2 recap videos. This one is just going to be the play-by-play, the box score, what I was thinking, mile by mile, pre-race shakeout run. The second video I'm going to do is like the main video. It's going to be called 26 Reasons Why or Holding Pace. So I wrote down the name of 26 people on my arm, and for each mile I was trying to hold pace for that specific person. It's gonna be epic, but it's gonna take me probably a very long time to shoot. So let's just get into this recap. The shakeout run. All right, here's the best part. My wife joins me for the shakeout run. Do you know how long I have been trying to get my wife into running without once ever nudging her in that direction, because love is not controlling and she hates running? I was like Tom Hanks in Castaway, like trying to start a fire, just like, fire! I got to run with my wife for the very first time. Aww, love is just so disgusting. Okay, Shakeout Run, Kofuzi Run Club, Shakeout Run. First of all, I'm heading down there with my wife from San Antonio to Houston. It's about a 3-hour drive. And I tell her on the way, I'm like, when we're down there, there may be like 1 or 2 people that watch the channel that happen to live in Houston that may want to say hi, you know. And the look she gave me when I said that, it was like this. It was like, it was one of those looks that was like, I don't know how to tell you this, but nobody cares about you but me. And then she said, I don't know how to tell you this, but like, nobody cares about you but me. Wait, she didn't say it exactly like that, but she was kind of like, yeah, you know, wouldn't get your hopes up. And I was like, baby, no, I'm not trying to say that like I'm a big deal or anything. I just mean that if we're in Houston and in a conversation and some midlifer comes up to us and he just wants to say hi, I want to let you know that I'm going to veer off here and I want to be present and I want to say hi. So I'm just preparing you for that. And then she says, okay. like I'm crazy. And you know what it was for me? The look and the tone, it was pity. You know, she felt genuinely sorry for me, right? But then we get to the shakeout run and this guy, Peter, comes up behind us and he wants to say hi because he watches the channel. And I look at my wife like this, but she won't look at me. She won't look at me. She's just looking for it because she knows. And I could see like she wants to smile, but she won't. It's like a phantom smile, right? But I know she knows, right? I see the look that she's not giving me and the smile that she's not smiling. And I know she knows. And then after Peter goes along, I meet 2 more midlifers who come up and want to say hi. And then when I finished the run, this guy Daniel wanted to come up and say hi. And then Kevin, who wanted to come up and take a picture. And I started to get to meet a lot of other midlifers, which was really awesome and actually set the stage for the next day on race day. I was blown away by all of the support and how many people were actually invested in this journey and rooting for me. The bloat was so real. I almost went back into my cabinet to grab that triple magnesium I got from the feed and just like dip my pinky in it and just start working it in, you know, just to get everything flowing again, man. It was okay, pre-race / carb loading leading into the Houston Marathon. I subscribed to the Megan Featherston nutrition carb guide. So for me and my weight, I need is 550 grams of carbs a day for 3 days. So I posted this on Threads. I went out hot. I did 564 grams on day 1. And then I started burning matches day 2, too early, right? So 500 grams for day 2. By the time I got to day 3, I was hitting a wall. I think I might have got like 460 something grams of carbs. My overall intake was 498 grams of carbs a day for 3 days. I would like to ask, I don't know if either Megan or Thomas watches this channel, probably not, but if you're for the soul, I would like to submit a video question. How do you train your gut in training for the marathon? How do you carb load train? Like, do you just do like Skittle intervals? 30 seconds on. Is Halloween a tune-up race? if it's for a fall marathon and Easter for a spring marathon, like how do you do it, you know? Actually, pro tip, carb loading, liquid calories, naked fruit juices, Coca-Cola, stuff like that really helped get in a lot of carbs. Race day morning, I wake up 5 a.m. I got 6 hours and 43 minutes of sleep. I took in some scratch high carb. It's 100 grams of carbs, ate a banana. Then I took a Martin gel, Morton, a big boy. That's another 40 grams of carbs. I don't know what the total is. I just got a bunch of stuff in. Then about 6:30, I ran the 0.9 miles, a warm-up mile to the starting corral after going to the bathroom many times. All is good. So I'm thinking I don't have to pee, all is good. At the expo, I bought a thermal cap and some sleeves just in case it was too cold. Kofuzi Run Club singlet, off-white shorts that I like to run in because they have 2 pockets with zippers. I went with the long tights because I trained in the long tights, but I was really feeling like I'd probably just do the short tights. That's what I trained in, nothing new on race day. Some high socks, classic midlife runner fashion, and the Alpha Fly 1.0s. 4 large big boy Mortons and 2 calves. I took a handheld with some element in it. So there wasn't much drama in, during the day, but there was some Corral Drama. I have to pee. And at first, I think I don't have to pee. I just peed before I left. 10 minutes to come into the corral. I passed the Porta Johns. I'm fine. We got 15 minutes to go. I clearly don't have to pee again. It's phantom pee. It's a phantom urge. I really don't have to go. National anthem goes. Everybody's starting to move along. We're inching forward. Oh, and for context, the corrals all run horizontal into the main chute that you take off in. I'm horizontal. I can't even see the start line. And I looked at the map, there's Porta Johns, emergency, like last stop Porta Johns on the way, porta potties, I don't want to call them Porta Johns. So I'm looking for them because I'm convinced, wait, I think I actually do have to pee, and I think I have to pee really bad. We're walking and then I see them. I see porta potties, I'm like, yes. Then I see a big line for all of them. And I'm like, oh, I did like the quick juggle. Do I start later? Then I try to like weave through people. But no, I see a guy to the left of the porta potties peeing, and to the left of him, another guy stretched all the way down. 8, 9 guys. Mom, close them. I became the 10th guy. I noticed something when I went back into the corral and I started walking. Everyone had kept walking towards the start line while I was peeing. So the pace groups, I was behind the pace group that I was supposed to be at, but I figured it would still be okay because the streets are really wide. So mile 1. Mile 1, pro tip. If you have a significant other or a loved one or just even a stranger you pay $5 to track you on the app and get them your number to text you which is your next turn, what side of the street, left or right, you can run the tangents better. So my secret weapon was my wife. My wife, she was texting me left. So I would line up on the left side of the street. My coach thought, well, that's a bit excessive. I mean, isn't everyone out there already running? Just follow everyone running. But there's so many people running, they take up the whole damn street from the right to the left. I memorized the first like 8 turns, but then it became too much for my small little brain. And so I relied on my wife, who hooked me up. First mile, the goal was a 7:10 pace. I ran it slightly too hot at a 7:07. Mile 2, the goal was 7 minutes to 7:05, and I ran bang on 7:02. Mile 3, the goal was 7 to 7:05, and I ran 6:55, a little hot. It's because I got behind all those pace groups, and I saw the 3:10 pace group, and I was like, yeah, I gotta pass them, and they're really big, they're thick, I mean, spread out all across the street, just entitlement everywhere, okay? And the pacers, they must be like 230 dudes or 230 chicks, because they're out there just like waving the 310 or the 305 stick like those rollerbladers, you know, on the street that are like flipping the signs and doing the thing like in banana costumes, just listening to jams. So I speed up to pass them, you know, but I gotta burn a match. Some of those groups get to be really big. So that's why I went a little fast on mile 3, coach. The heart rate at this point, and I'm not like running the race by heart rate, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it, was maybe 168, 169. That's a little high for this early in the race of where I want to be, but it's not too concerning. 173 174, that's the start of my threshold. That's when I really start burning it. I wasn't too worried about it. Mile 4, the goal was 650 to 655, and I did a bang on 652. It was also at this point, I took my first gel. It was a Morton Big Boy. So my gel strategy was 4, 8, and then a calf on 12, then 16, and 20, and then 20 would be a calf also, depending on how I felt. But the whole idea with the big Mortons was like, maybe this time I'll just take the bigger ones because I don't really feel like I have the stomach for it later. So get in more calories and carbs earlier on, and maybe I won't need it later. Okay, mile 5, the goal, 650 to 655, bang on, 653, banging it, shagging. And I think it was probably around this time that I met the first midlifer out there who, he was a little younger, maybe he was like a third lifer, I don't know, but he was like, hey, midlife white guy, right? And I was like, yeah. And I was thinking, well, I almost named the channel that. I mean, I went with runner, you know, it seemed a little more appropriate, but I got to run with him for, you know, a minute before I had to like ease into my next pace for mile 6, but that was kind of the start of being recognized on course, which I didn't really expect. I think like a little bit later on, someone hit me with that, hey, midlife, you know, started getting that, you know, rock and roll support. Okay, so mile number 6, this was the start of my boring stretch from mile 6 to mile 15. My goal was 645 to 650. Mile 6 was a 650. It was at this point where I also, I think, passed the 305 group. I thought about for a while, like maybe because it is a little windy, I could just get in and let them break my wind, passing on a juvenile joke there. But I realized, no, I'm gonna pass them. I need to hold my pace and run my race. So I continued on. 10K split, 655 pace. Mile 7, 648. Mile 8, 645. Mile 9, 648. Bang on, bang on, bang on. At this point also, I had lost, like maybe after mile 3, the thermal cap, the sleeves, you know, I was just running in the singlet. Heart rate, probably like 170, and then maybe 169, 170. It was staying solid, so we were good on that front. Mile 10, 651. Mile 11, 647. The heart rate got up to about 172, which is okay, because mile 12 was a 650 and the heart rate dropped back down to 171. Okay, mile 13, the hill, the big hill. Oh, there's this big hill on 13, man. You gotta watch out, right? So I'm prepared for this, right? On my holding pace, I've got a person every mile that I'm holding pace for. And 13, who's it gonna be? SJD, Seth James D'Amour. Why? That was one of the first channels that I ever watched when I got into running. So I'm ready to float Tories. I'm ready to float grays. You know, I'm ready to get up there, to, you know, quick hands, light feet, float all the way up. And then I see the hill. Overpass. This little thing. I was like, oh, this is nothing. FKT, baby, FKT. However, FKT 651, bang on, heart rate 173, right there, right there, right there. So coming down the hill, I was hitting like a 646 past mile 13 towards the halfway point, put out the arms, did one of those airplane numbers. And tangent, if you're new to the channel, bless your heart, I want you to know that I do stuff like that spontaneously from the joy that's overflowing from my soul, pretty oblivious to how it appears to everyone else. Hence why it's oftentimes very cringy. Cringe is in, thank the heavens, for me most of the time these days, and dad jokes are okay and all that. But what I'm feeling, it's just boom, it's like that. Like I was at mile 9 or 10, I think, and Ace Hood dropped, I woke up in a new Bugatti. I don't know if you call it singing, but I woke up in a new Bugatti. Hitting 647, you bet your ass I hit those splits. That's me, we're out there. Just running and around in the streets or flying across the halfway point at about a 130-30, baby. Now, for the race day strategy, this is exactly where I wanted to be at the halfway point. I knew I was gonna give up about 35 to 40 seconds in the first 5 miles, and the next 8 miles, I was gonna start landing in front of 652, and I would erase that time down to 0, and then I would just be left with the surplus of tangent time, which was only 30 seconds. So this was perfect. Okay, mile 14, 643. It's a little bit too quick here. I got excited. I knew I would. My heart rate got up to about 176, and the wind started to pick up here. didn't really notice it when people said, oh, we got a lot of headwind from mile 12 to mile 18. It wasn't like so strong that I was really aware of it. Like, man, I'm really fighting this wind. It's windy out here. I never had that thought. Either way, 176 is not gonna be sustainable for an entire half marathon, that heart rate. So I knew I had to ease up, and I shouldn't have been because I should still be between 645 and 650. Mile 15, this was a 648. This is where I met my wife, who gave me a Nathan's bottle of, I had some element in there.
Do you need a gel?
I love you, thank you.
Love you. You got this, baby?
And then I had my phone out, you know, to call her to see where she was at, to make sure I didn't miss her. And then I had trouble getting back in my pocket. I just stop and repocket it and take off. So I feel like the mile was mostly like a 645, but it lost a few seconds and ended up being a 648. Bang on. Mile 16, go zone, baby, go time, 640 to 645. I run a 648. And the heart rate climbs back up to about a 174, it gets into threshold, and I know at that point, I'm not so sure I'm gonna be able to execute the race plan. Not that I can't run a sub 3, I still might be able to run a sub 3. It just might look a little different. It's just that I can't go into threshold with 11 miles, 10 miles to go after this and still finish strong. I've gotta keep those matches burning slowly, right? And it was almost like Indiana Jones, you know, in all those movies, it's like, you know, the door's falling and something happens, the door's closing. There and the door's closing and he's fumbling with stuff, the door's coming down, it's somehow still at the same spot but like coming down. You're like, is he gonna make it and get out of there with the relic, right? And that was me. Like, if the sub 3 window it's like closing, but it's like if I just stay close enough to it, then maybe if I get towards the end, I'll get some energy from the crowd or whatever, and, you know, slide right underneath with the crystal sub 3 or whatever. Okay, so mile 17, 652. I looked at the elevation, it was fine. I'm not sure what happened here, if like I was thinking mile 16 was a little too fast and I was just trying to ease up or conserve my energy, but that's what it was. Mile 18, 647. Now, this mile has the most elevation gain, right? Like, you get it back because it's hills, right? It comes back and forth. Houston's relatively flat, but this one had about 68 feet of elevation. My heart rate kind of climbed up into the 175, 176. And at this point, we're getting to the point where it doesn't really matter where the heart lands. I don't want to burn out, but like at a certain point, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna leave it out there because I'm trying to hit my paces. We're still landing 5 seconds in front of where we need to, and so we're good. Mile 19 was a 655. On Final Surge, it said 654, so somewhere in there. Okay, 30K split was 656. Now, I didn't know this, but I was hitting mile 20 and I was just thinking like, maybe that window that was going down, that door that was closing, I thought it had closed. And that's when my wife texted me like, come on, baby, you're on pace, 2:59:54 or something like that for an estimated finish time. And it never even occurred once to me that she might be trying to give me the old razzle dazzle. You know, a little spark, a little magic, a little white lie there. But I picked up the pace anyway, and mile 20 was a 650. Mile 21, 653. And mile 22, this is where it gets good. I gotta give you a little context, lay a little pipe here. Going into the Houston Marathon, I made a video on my race plan and prediction, and I said this.
Please, if you see me running in the marathon, at the top of your lungs, Midlife Wanker.
And then a little bit later on in the video, I said this. I'm gonna try to put those bang on 652. If I do miss it, if you're out on a run and you can't afford to read the text, I basically said, sometimes I wish that I was British just so I could say bang on. Now I give to you the clip I showed in the beginning from Stevie 76.
Wake up! Yeah! Yeah! You're bang on, man! Bang on! Sub 3! Go get it, man! Go get it! Yeah, let's do it! Yeah! Yeah, let's do it! Go get it!
My primary love language is words of affirmation, and I cannot express to you how happy and motivated I was from that. That carried me for at least 2 miles. So mile 22 was a 658 and mile 23 was a 7. Now, if you have ever slowed down in a marathon, and then you know, you can red line that car and just push the pedal down and force your body and smash your legs and pick them up, and your body just can't do it. It's just slowing. Yeah, race pace that you can sustain for 40 to 60 minutes. That's threshold. Yeah, but what happens when you keep running after that? You slow down, right? You can still run, but you slow down. So my hope was that I didn't slow down too much, but I could feel it. I could feel I was just redlining it and the body was just slowing down. Then I started to realize I'm landing slightly on the other side of 652. I don't know if it's in the cards today. So the last 5K was not about sub 3. It was just about pushing my body beyond its limits, convincing it could do more than what it thinks it can do. Running beyond my fitness, running above what is possible. So I didn't train enough for a sub 3, it. Mile 24 with 68 feet of elevation, 7:17. I am dying out there, just pushing and forcing it and just picking my legs up, doing all the mantras, quick hands, light feet. I'm trying everything. Mile 25, 48 feet of elevation, 7:31. This was my slowest mile. I'm mad at my body just trying to get it to go. And it was like, no, I refuse. I can go faster than this no matter. Okay, timeout. Hello, it's future me. I'm editing this video and this whole section doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm reshooting it. Here we go, mile 26. Mile 26 is the best part of the story. It has the biggest surprise. Okay, but first, let me set the stage for you. If you've never run the Houston Marathon and you're in the back half after mile 20, there's not a whole lot of turns. In fact, after mile 23, there's really only one turn, and that's a little bit into 26. There's a 90-degree turn. You turn to the left, you run one block, then you book a right, and it's all the way down to the chute. So, mile 26, I am holding pace for my wife. Mile 26, I will always hold pace for my wife. Like, she is right in front of me. I am chasing after her. Like, there's a truck coming and I'm chasing and I've got to save her. It's like Cruel Intentions. Also, at the same time, she's in my ear. She's encouraging me. She's saying, you can do this, Andrew. You got this. You got this. And at this point, I am approaching that 90-degree turn, right? Where I'm gonna take a left. And I start to hear some static. There's some interference. There's a voice that's like pulling me out of this. And it's a very real voice. It's not imaginary. And it's oddly extremely familiar.
You can do it! Keep fighting, you look good! You're so strong!
Yeah, I look up and see Michael Coe holding a GoPro. Kofuzi. Like a live stream, but I was invited. Okay, now this whole scenario was surprising for 3 reasons. The first one, Kofuzi ran the half marathon. He was already done. He should have been done. His goal was 125. I was running the full marathon. I thought the next time I was gonna hear his voice was on a live stream on YouTube. The second reason this was surprising is because Kofuzi was already my mile 16. We were done. He had already told me, come on, Andrew. He had already encouraged me. I thought we were done. And then there he was. Okay, and the third and last reason why this whole scenario was very surprising. I met Kofuzi once in Chicago for the Shake Out Run and then here. Okay, like we're not friends. I mean, it certainly feels like it, but it's a very one-sided relationship where for years, he talks on live streams and then I listen to him while I run, but we don't hang out. Anyway, Kofuzi runs the whole block with me.
You can do it! Keep fighting, you look good! You're so strong! You are so strong! You've been training for this, let's go! Hold it together! Hit the turn and it's all tailwind! It's all tailwind! And then just cruise it! Cruise it in! You got it, you're strong! Let's go!
And I guess what was really mind-blowing and ironic was that, you know, like I started running because of COVID, and I've always been a storyteller and a cringy joke maker.
The power of spite compels you. Obey a thirst demon.
But I probably wouldn't have pursued a sub 3 journey or bought a GoPro 9 if it wasn't for this guy, who is now filming my sub 3 attempt. And listen, I know I'm very aware that he went out there to cheer on many, many people, right? I'm just saying that I was honored to be one of them, especially at mile 26. Oh, also, Mike, my wife is not gonna be thrilled about this, and I'm not so sure she's gonna make the next shakeout run. Okay, back to me 3 days ago. I saw the clip and I did not look too good, but I assure you, after that clip, I got lit on fire. I turned down, and if you've never run Houston, you turn down this chute, right? And so it's a street. On the left side of the street, it's the half marathoners. On this side, it's the marathoners. You got the buildings, the wind at your back, just flying down. It felt like doing a little toboggan thing. My body just released the gate that was holding me back, and my knees could pick up. And I started going. I didn't know when the finish was, right? Like there was still a lot left of 20, there was some left of 26. So I ran a 7:14 And then with the tangents, my 0.2 ends up being 0.38. Strava had me at a 6:07 pace. I think for sure there had to be some GPS interference, but I was ass. And I don't know what it is about the body that's like, okay, once it knows it can see a finish line or know that it's there, it's like, oh, okay, we're not gonna die. Okay, great. Yeah, no, you could go. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, we're good now. Right, just, okay, dad duties. All right, where was I? Yes, the final shoot. Coming down the final shoot. Knees up, no Lyles. Elbows to the sky, thumbs to the eye, whatever. So I'm going towards the finish line. I see 3:04.18, and I'm like confused a little bit, right? I mean, this is still a minute faster than my marathon PR, if that is my final time. So I go through, my app comes down, Houston app lets me know chip time, 3 hours, 2 minutes, 24 seconds. So it's a PR by over 3 minutes, and then I clear it, and sure enough, I look down and I see my Garmin time, 3 hours, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, save it, move off to the side, dry heave a little bit. Not a heaver myself, don't yak often, ever on the course, but I get close a lot. And I have dry heaved after a couple workouts, but this was one. Yeah. To note, when you finish the Houston Marathon, if you've never run the Houston Marathon, you don't get it. It's not a quick exit. You got to be very patient because everybody finishes and slowly waddles their way, bottlenecked down, herded like cattle in there. And they have water, right? So actually, I got a water from a volunteer who was like, hey, Midlife Runner. He wanted to take a picture. And I wish I had a clearer mind. I so wish I had a clearer mind, because then I would have taken the picture and then sent it to my wife and been like, oh yeah, this is good. Anyway, we go into the convention center, just waddling along. Nobody's in a hurry. And we were just in a hurry for like 26 miles, and nobody's in a hurry, right? Because in the convention center, and you hit the like showroom floors where you could pick up you get your mug and your shirt and all the goodies and whatever the little ticket things are. Probably gear check, bag pickup. I didn't do that. I was just trying to get out of there and reconnect. After a marathon, I just want to see my wife. Whoa, I know, it's gross, but anyway, be patient. And now some of you have asked me already if I feel disappointed that I didn't hit a sub 3. And the answer is no. This was actually one of the best days in my medium life span. To be honest, I teared up when I did. I teared up. I have emotions. Capable of feeling things. When I was in the hurry, I was being herded towards the convention center, and the shock of it all was sort of like wearing off, you know, that the surrealness to it, and I started to open my arms and accept the support. It wasn't real before this. You know, I make jokes into the void. I run upstairs in my wife's office and turn this camera on, and I make a bunch of jokes, but I rarely get out into the running. This is the first time I've actually, you know, since this channel started, that I've been in the running community and actually got to meet everyone. And I had no idea so many people were rooting for me or inspired or anything. And so it got very real. It's so real. Like, case in point, like the post on Strava, you know, I'll post to Strava, and this has got like 700 plus kudos and like 150, 160 comments on there. You know, and I'm not saying like, oh, what a flex, oh, I got kudos or comments or whatever. Like, external validations and stuff like that aren't responsible for my self-esteem. What I'm just saying is that like all of that support and all of that energy, it's very welcomed when you're trying to do something extremely difficult, which was me trying to break 3. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who threw any sort of positive vibes or energy my way. I felt it, and I am grateful. As far as the result goes, yes, it is a PB. Yes, it is a BQ. But I don't feel like I left an extra second out there on the course. If I want to run a sub 3, my biggest takeaway is that I have to train more. I have to train more volume. I have to do more threshold, long runs, just more weekly mileage. On a positive note, that just means there might be Breaking 3 Season 2. So stay tuned for that, and